everyone. Thank you so much for joining Abhi, Jharna, and me, Edel, on another episode of Radio Halo Talk. And today, it's going to get just a little bit spicy because we're going to talk about romance, the ins and outs, the do's and the don'ts. Trust us, it's not going to be a bitter talk. It's not going to be a prophecy of doom. It's not going to be pro single and anti coupled people. It's not going to be anything of that. It's just about a lot of lessons that the three of us together have learned. And we'd like to share with the world because that's the whole purpose of learning a lesson, isn't it? To make the world a better place because of how well we have learned the lesson and what kind of a better person we've become as a result of. So welcome everyone to this Shred Your Halo podcast, blog, yes. And I would like to have the two of my favorite compatriots introduce themselves and talk just a little bit about their love lives. Abhi.
Hi, okay. I have had quite an eventful love life since a while, and starting off with a long duration relationship, which also a part of it happened to be long distance, and then the breakup, and then quite a few smaller relationships, minuscule relationships, because compared to the first relationship, it was for quite a long time. And then teeny tiny smaller ones here and there, just to keep me in the loop. I think the God of love wanted me, probably, so that I don't forget romance, because it's been so many years since the breakup, but still positive. Yes, Mr.
What
Right,
about you, Jarna?
the so-called Mr. Right watching.
Oh, yes. What about you, Jarna?
I've been single for a while now, and I think whatever relationships I've had previously, it has led to the point where there were so many lessons that I learned, and I am still learning because, like Edel says, it is the gift that keeps on giving. Because there's always something that we learn, and we learn that so much later, and it just sort of feels like a penny drop, and then suddenly you realize, okay, so this is something new, I can work with this. So I feel like the person I am today is because of the relationships I've had, and I am grateful for having been through what I went through, and it's led me to a place where I'm able to learn so much more about myself, and in future I hope to be able to use what I'm learning now to my advantage and to lead more to my growth. So I feel this is a very important aspect of our lives. It's something that we just um, we need to be our own people before we can find someone to be another person and then you're a unit. But it's so important to know who you are, and I think that comes from being in relationships and then taking the time off and doing a little bit of studying of yourself. So I think it's been it's been a fun journey, I have to.
Right. Thank you, Jana. Mine was a pretty dramatic relationship. I can't say I enjoyed it. I can't say I hated it. I was going through a lot of internal turmoil, and I tried to use the relationship as a kind of um, personal rescue mission. So I put way too much pressure on my partner to rescue me, which clearly and exactly like birds of a feather flock together. He was looking for someone to rescue him, and clearly that is a recipe for disaster. So I'm very, very grateful for the lessons that I learned, and like I always say, the gift that keeps on giving. Every single day, I learn something from that, and today we're going to unearth all the lessons we can learn from a relationship that is past. so that the next relationship may not be an amplification of our shadows, may not be a more of a battle cry from the depths of the things we decide to hide from ourselves. So that we don't keep on running in a treadmill where just the faces change, but the same emotions, the same pain keeps lingering over and over again. So I hope this vlog helps everyone who listens into leading a more powerful, a more solidified, and a more conscious love life. So the first question is, obviously, what is the purpose of a relationship? Jharna.
A relationship with a friend, with a partner, a love life is something we are sort of, as people, as human beings, we're wired to maintain or make relationships with other people because I read somewhere, firstly, it's our biology. And as social animals, we are wired to stay in groups of people mainly because it's a question of safety. But it also helps us evolve as people, understand ourselves better, understand our surroundings better, and the safety factor I feel lets us explore ourselves and other people and surroundings. Because without safety, when there's no safety net, we're pretty much looking to survive and not be, deers caught in headlights. So I think relationships are very important, mainly in understanding who we are as people. Because when you're interacting with someone else, you learn more about yourself, the way you react to them, the way they react to you, and building a relationship is something I think is very important because how else are you going to do that? So I think
Perfect.
the purpose of
Right. What about you, Abhi? What do you think is the purpose of a relationship?
I think a purpose of a romantic relationship for me would be to have an unabridged intimacy on a mental, physical, and spiritual level.
Mhm.
And uh, I think the purpose of a relationship for me also it will be a source of strength if it's a right relationship. Um, but yeah, I think the physical intimacy which comes into a romantic relationship can put together a lot of the mental and the spiritual bits, and the whole amalgamation can turn out to be very beautiful. I think that's the purpose.
Yes.
what about you, Edel?
Right. For me, the purpose of a relationship is just more than anything else. I think I crave predictability, stability, some sense of constance, not control, but just the idea of coming home to someone. It's so attractive to me, just so attractive, which is why I have the dogs that I do, I think. So I love the idea of belonging to someone, having someone witness my life, having someone to witness, having someone like, who are we in the grand scheme of things whilst we're walking in a, I don't know, in a road, in a pavement somewhere, we're just another blur, just another like that, right? But when you are in love with someone, you go home and you get witnessed and you're in center stage. You're in center stage when you're wearing your sweats. You're in the center stage when you haven't dyed your hair. And you're in center stage when, I don't know, when you're PMSing, things like that. So in a world with 7.5 billion people, I always wonder, who am I when I'm not witnessed? And to me, a relationship is a sense of witness, a sense of, oh, I've been there, I've been here in this world. And only a relationship is able to, a romantic relationship is able to give that with that level of intimacy to me. Um, Friendships do it to a large extent, especially deep and meaningful friendships. But a romantic relationship, when done just right, it can be all the difference in the world. It's like a Taj Mahal moment every single day to me. So that's the reason why I would love to be in a romantic relationship. Right. So that now that we've established why it's important to be in a relationship, and do any one of you dispute the fact that romantic relationships are important?
Sorry?
Do any one of you dispute the fact that a romantic relationship is important? Do you think it's unnecessary or overrated or shouldn't be given importance?
I,
I don't think it's overrated at all. I don't think so at all. Because, like you said, the level of intimacy that you can have in a romantic relationship is different from what you would have in terms of friendship or close family. It's not the same. It's not the same. I don't think it's overrated at all.
Right. Yes. What about you, Abhi?
I think it's overrated.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's way too overrated. Romantic relationship. For me, romantic relationship just brings, I think, puts together my mental and spiritual. It connects the dots with the physical intimacy for me.
Right.
So I think it's I had an overrated view about romantic relationship. Not that I've become a total cynic, but I just feel it's very overrated. So yeah.
Would you think it's unnecessary, a romantic relationship? Do you think it's unnecessary?
Unnecessary? Not really, because like friendships, romantic relationships are also necessary. They teach you a lot.
Yes.
The bad ones teach you more, in fact.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yes.
It's like one.
It's like a Pandora's box.
Yes, one Bible of lessons. It's like that.
Oh,
So I
right.
think it's very necessary. I think it's very necessary to have bad relationships.
Oh, I hate that you said it, but without bad relationships, who are you, right? What?
Exactly. I don't know what I would be doing if not for my ex.
Yeah, if you know what is bad, how will you know what you actually want and what is good and healthy? Right?
I agree with Jharna on that. That in that way, an X is a great contrast point, like a negative of a photograph, and then you can say, now I definitively know what I don't want, and then we can build on that. So that's a very hopeful note. We'll ignore what Abhi said, and we'll go on to the next question. How dare you? Right. The first question I want to ask is myths, myths about relationships. Now, since none of us are novices, what are the three myths that you've encountered in your journey towards getting into a relationship, or myths that you realized when you were in a relationship were like freaking myths? I'd go with Jharna first.
So when I was actually thinking about these questions and thinking of what to say, I cannot remember the last time I rolled my eyes so much. And there were a few things that I came across early because the first one that I came across was people saying, I'm never going to hurt you. I am never going to disappoint you. And they are so sure that that's not going to happen. And then it's too much of a pressure to put on yourself. And I think it, I can see Abhi is just waiting to crack up.
I just want to make a reference. There is this absolutely ridiculous show on Netflix right now going on, Love is Blind.
Oh, yes,
It's the premise is so redonkulous.
Oh, lots of lessons to be learned in that, love.
I think after watching this vlog, people should go and check that out and fall in love with all of us. All those people who will watch that and then
welcome.
watch us. So everybody in that says I'm never going to hurt you.
Oh, 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 Jesus.
Men
Right.
say this, but they're hurting each other.
Right.
Even
Thank God
Okay,
for
so
alcohol.
sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
please, Jharna, continue. Yeah.
even the bachelor is like that, right? Everybody is just thrown together in a place, and then everybody's fighting with each other to find someone. I mean, and I literally remember seeing this one particular scene. Okay, I think the cat's out of the bag. I have watched The Bachelor.
Oh my God, there's no going back to you. It's recorded in a YouTube video and put out on the internet for posterity. Is this what you want out there, Jarna, that you watch The Bachelor?
I
Oh,
want everything. The truth is, you can't stop watching. It's like a train wreck waiting to happen, and you can't take your eyes off of it.
I can't believe we're talking about relationships, like real relationships, and you're bringing The Bachelor in it. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Ah,
Okay.
children.
Anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, so saying things like I'm never going to hurt you, never going to disappoint you, and then stressing on that never. And these are things you can't promise, right? You cannot promise these things. There are there will be times you will hurt or disappoint the person you're with, and you have to find a way to deal with that hurt and disappointment from both sides, the person who's been hurt and the person who has done the hurting or the disappointing. And this brings me to the next myth, never having to say you're sorry. It's just so ridiculous. And
Oh my God.
I think Eric Siegel's love story kind of propagated that.
Love
Um,
means never having to say you're sorry.
and
Mm-hmm.
All the Indian movies.
how did we forget that? Which I remember when I read this book, I think I was in school when I read the book, and I remember reading this line and thinking, oh my god, that sounds like the perfect relationship. But later I learned that is not the case because if you've made a mistake, you apologize. How else are you going to move forward from that relationship? And the person who has been the one to hurt you or do something that was not good for either of the people in the relationship, if that person is not willing to acknowledge he or she has made a mistake, how are you going to move forward? Because you'll be frozen in that time and you're going to keep repeating over and over and over again. So I think these two things are very synonymous with each other. Apart from this, I would also have to say um, people thinking that it's not necessary to have boundaries, which
Oh,
which I don't think makes sense at all. If you don't have boundaries, how are you going to know that you're different from the person you're with and what you like, what they like, what your
hmm.
dislikes are? If you're not going to know what your boundaries are, then you're just going to become a replica of that person. You're just going to start doing whatever they think is required or they think is ideal. And somebody who is willing to do that is also not aware enough to realize that you are a different person. You know, you're doing something and then you think, oh, you know what, this person I love is absolutely amazing because they're doing exactly everything that I want to do. And there are times when people don't even question their significant others if there's something else that they'd like to do or something else that they'd like to take part in. I mean, small example, but not having boundaries is very unhealthy for a relationship. It doesn't make sense to me at all, like at all. And another thing is, only this is something that I've heard from a lot of people. I think it's very common. They say we've been married for 50 years, so it's an absolutely successful. I don't believe that at all. The longevity is not equal to a successful relationship. Again, what is success depends on what you define as success. But being married to somebody for whatever duration, 20, 30, 40 years, but you are in an emotionally unavailable relationship, You're in a physically abusive relationship. You're in a relationship where you're always trying to one up each other. That is not successful relationship. That is just dysfunction. So success of a relationship does not depend on the length of the relationship. So I feel like these are the three biggest myths that I have learned from being in a relationship and looking at other relationships.
Well done, Jharna. Preach. What about you, Abhi? What are the three myths that you come across?
I think first is this the biggest myth that it's going to be happily ever after.
Hmm.
No, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm not a cynic, so it's not happily ever after. The
Yeah.
myth, another one is that it's a constant. Sorry, it's probably
No,
not going
it's
to be a
not.
constant, and I think people get into relationship is a myth. I think they feel that a relationship will right now will bail them out from the situation, that whatever situation that they are in right now. So it's a bailout for them
Mm. Mm.
on whatever mess, whatever crappy mess that they are in. One, they'll get one relationship and that person will just bail them out magically like that. These are
Hmm.
the myths, I think, of the relationship, I feel.
Yes, well
What
done.
about you, Adele?
For me, the three myths that oh well, I must sound so terribly naive, but I think these are like very common myths. This whole soulmates, twin flames, destined for lovers. Oh God, I um, I understand that when our egos blur in the beginning of a romance, you do feel like as though you're destined to be together, but let's not get caught up in this whole soulmate, twin flame, karmic connection. Let's not make it into some unique thing when falling in love and being in a relationship is like literally the most common thing everybody does, right? So let's not do that. That's not true. The second one is love is a feeling. It's not. It's a decision and it's action. Um, Love is not a feeling. In fact, love doesn't even feel like love that in our imagination that we think it is. So love is not a feeling. And the third one is if it's worth it, you'll have to suffer for it. Hell no. Hell no. The
I
third
know.
myth is if it is really love, that other person would be making your life easy. You'll be working hard to make another person's life easy. It will be simple and it will be easy. Your life automatically becomes easier for having that person in your life. Why would you add a burden to your life just because you want to be in a relationship? Which, if we are in a dysfunction, that's clearly what we will do. So, these are the huge three myths that I've consistently run into. Okay, so now that we've talked about the three myths that we got rudely awakened from during our foray into relationships. What are the three truths we learned? Now, this time I'll start with Abhi. What are the three truths about relationships, Abhi?
The first truth is a romantic relationship is hard work.
Ah,
It's not it's not you're not on a perpetual honeymoon.
ouch.
You're not lying on a bed of roses. There is no violin in your bedroom every day, every time. There are no rose petals. There is no nothing. It's
How dare
hard
you?
fucking work.
Yes.
You do your job being a good partner, and well, you see what happens next. So that's what it is. It's hard work. Second is, I think it's a dynamic process. It can and it will change. You will change. You as a person are going to change. Your partner as a person will also change. Hence, the relationship that you all brought together, that you're generated together, is also going to change. So if you all are not going to adapt accordingly, well,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, so it will change. And then that's the point. One person is always stuck in past, and the other person moves away in the future, and then they say you were not like this. But that's the thing I was going to say, that people change. The relationship that you built, that you started with, will also change over a period of time, so just be prepared for it. And like I already said that in the mid, it's just a reiteration of the same. Do not think that you can ignore your issues under the garb of a relationship. Please, it's whatever issues you have, whatever inner child issues you have, whatever work you need to do as a person, as work on your trauma, work on your physical, mental issues, whatever it is, or your self-esteem, whatever it is. Um, you do not think of financial issues, whatever issues. So do not think that your issues are going to get sorted or it will disappear after under the garb of a relationship. In fact, it will be prepared. It will raise its head or heads, how many ever issues you have, depending on that. And yeah, so that's.
But I have to also have a caveat to the last point that you just made. I did not know I was having issues whilst I attracted the person I did into my life. I thought I was on a spiritual high. I thought I had it together. But in retrospect, I understood that I had attracted this person into my life because I had massive heaps of daddy issues. And this person came almost like a prophet from the dark. And all my daddy issues came out. All my father is such a classic narcissist that he's beyond boring because he's such a textbook narcissist. And because he's my father and I suffered so much, I attracted this person. But like you said, when the issues arise and your life is not as easy, it's a good idea to understand that maybe this person is not a soulmate, maybe this person is a lesson, and try to make damage control um, actions. Yeah.
And in fact, I think at that moment, if you're able to understand that there is all these issues that are coming up, if you are a person who's having insight into yourself, into your psyche, into your own spirituality, into your soul, you would excuse yourself from the relationship, take time out, delve into yourself, and come
Yes.
back for a newer relationship. Do not
Yes.
let the two peoples, both of y'all, suffer.
Yes. Oh my God, I couldn't agree more. What about you, Jharna? What are the three truths that you've learned?
Um, the first thing is, of course, like Abhi said, it takes work, but it's work that we're willing to put in because we like the other person and want to make it work. But if there are issues, you need to find a way to address them and not shove it under the carpet. Otherwise, you will be stuck and
Yes.
will continue to keep repeating the same patterns over and over again and wonder why your entire life. So yes, it takes work, but it shouldn't feel so hard that you feel like you're giving yourself up. And it's not fair to do that to yourself. You have one life, you take the time out to figure out who you are and take good care of yourself. So that is important. And yes, you put in the work, it's like going to a job that you enjoy doing a lot because you also have something that comes out from doing this work. It's not just one way, it has to be both. And second thing is, before the relationship is formed, it's very important to understand that there are two people in a relationship. It's not one person trying to make it work and the other person doesn't want to do anything. So it's important to understand that two people need to be
Oh,
there to make it work. Plus, two people two individuals who come together and then form a relationship. You don't become somebody else because you're in a relationship. That does not happen. You just amplify those parts of you that you haven't resolved, whatever childhood issues, other issues you had. It's just going to get magnified because romantic relationships are the biggest mirrors that can be held to our face, and you don't have a choice other than facing it. You can try escaping, but it does not work because how long are you going to escape? Or you're going to sever a part of you and feel dead inside if you haven't addressed it, and you think at the end of your life that my goodness, I could have done so much more for myself. So it shouldn't get to that point. You need to find a way to address those issues. And the third thing is it takes time to build real intimacy. It's not the intimacy we see in movies. Oh, you know what? I think you're absolutely beautiful and you're so smart and you're so funny. And I'm good looking and I'm smart and I'm funny. So we're going to be really great together. And our kids are also going to be so amazing. No, they're not. So you need to find a way to build real intimacy. I mean, how long have I known you, Edel? How long have I known you, Abhi? And for me, I just feel like I'm beginning to scratch the surface with both of you. And we've been in each other's lives for Edel and I, we've been friends for close to 11 years. Abhi and I have been close, like we've gotten to know each other and become close over the last maybe 2 years. And I've known you a little longer than that, maybe like 5 years before then. But we've just begun to figure out each other. So if that is the case in a friendship, imagine how much more time it could take in a romantic relationship. So when people say, oh, it's so important to be vulnerable, if you share too much right at the beginning, there's a lot of other things that you will have to deal with in terms of, my goodness, I revealed too much, and then you have to deal with that internal shame of having dared, like just vomited your entire life to this other person. So intimacy takes time, and it's very important to not rush that. Absolutely not.
Right. Oh, that's a kind of like a warning note for many young viewers who probably have not lived long enough to have collected a lot of data about the dangers that lurk in the world right now. Love bombing and getting intimate too fast and getting too vulnerable too fast is the perfect recipe for all kinds of unimaginable danger. Just remember this as a rule of thumb. If you can't say something in front of your parents, don't say it behind your back to the guy or girl you just met. Because in this world, right now, you don't know where it's going to go, right? Okay, now I'm going to talk about the three truths I learned, which actually free me more than anything else. Relationships can end. It might sound like that's the first truth I learned. Um, because I have great insecurities in my life, and because I'm kind of like OCD about control and uncertainties, I love to make relationships, and I'm never the one to break something. I try to make it go for as far as it. Okay, no, I'm nowhere close to how hard Jharna works to flog a dead horse uphill, but compared to her, nobody can win that race. But I try to have a relationships that last a lifetime. At least I don't think, well, if the going gets tough, I'm always going to dump this person. So it's nice for me to know that relationships can end, and it's okay. And guess what? There's life on the other side of it, and there's new love to be found, because that's how life works in a world filled with 7.5 billion people. What makes you and me think that we've run out of everyone to love just because you have one broken romance, right? And you're not dirtied, you're not tainted, you're not used, you're not, you know, of less value because you've broken up from a relationship. If you don't have a relationship that has broken you to smithereens before behind you, you are not qualified to enter into a healthy relationship ahead. So relationships can end, can both be a battle cry and a call to arms for all of us. The second truth I learned is it takes only one person in a relationship to end it. It takes two people to build it, and it takes only one person being consistently careless to change the other person irrevocably. That person who is just no longer the same person because this person continues to do the damage over and over again, and then that person leaves. So to break a relationship, it just takes one careless person. So choose your partner with a great deal of respect because you respect yourself greatly. If we know what it feels like to respect ourselves, we will choose people who respect us, who mirror that feeling of self-respect we have within ourselves, and we won't choose abusers. So if you've been abused by your family, most of our traumas from our families anyway, so go to therapy, heal yourself, because we won't go and find a partner who is going to be the diametric opposite of a familiar pain. We are going to find somebody who's going to mirror that pain that we find familiar in our lives. So we're not in search of happiness, we are in search of familiarity. So let's make sure that we know what our signature happiness is, what our signature pain is, what our signature self-respect is, what our signature self-worth is, and attract into our lives people who will give that to us because we're familiar with that feeling. So the second truth I learned is it only takes one person to break a relationship. And the third truth that I am extremely militant about is letting an ex back into your life is a bad idea. Is a bad idea. And along with it is there is no such thing as closure. So number one, you have to leave a relationship with lots of things unsaid. It's just the truth of the game. So I know this is not something that any of us wants to hear, but closure is such a myth. The person who hurt you is not going to resolve the truth. They're not going to have great insight into, oh, this is the reason why I hurt you. Bullshit, this is not going to happen. And I'm so sorry you felt hurt. No, this is the thesis statement why my familial curses have caused me to act in this unthinking manner. No person is going to have that thesis statement, right? I think sneakily enough, everybody knows when they've been an asshole and if they've hurt you, and clearly your snot-filled, swollen, tear-filled eye face is going to be a clue that they've hurt you. They're not going to take responsibility for it, and they're not going to say they're sorry. And so closure is, if you're going to search for a closure from the person that hurt you, maybe just don't do it. Maybe you're just wasting your time, right? And the ex that tries to crawl back into your life with questions of, can we just be friends? You should ask yourself questions like, really? Are my friendships consolation prizes? Or, like, thank you for participating in the race of my life. So let me hand you my friendship. So we should ask ourselves, what quality of friendships do we have? Friendship with me is prime. It's like filet mignon. A friendship with me is top rank. You don't, get off the boat and walk into my life and be my friend. You gotta earn it. So it's a good way to evaluate the relationships in all our life. Do not let your lover crawl back into your life as a friend. And like Wendy Williams says, once they've seen your ecstasy face, they're not going to be your friend, which is so true. Like, how would he or she be your friend? This is so messed up. Do not let your ex back into your life. They have no reason to be in your life because number one, they haven't said sorry. Most often they don't. Number two, if you were the bad person that broke the relationship and you want the ex back into your life so that you feel less crappy about hurting them, maybe go to therapy. So the truth is relationships end, and sometimes that's the best thing that can happen to you. The second truth is it takes only one person to break a relationship. It takes two people to build it. It takes one person to break it. And the third one is There is no such thing as closure, and do not allow an ex back into your life. All right, I think because this is such an extensive topic, I think it would be a fantastic idea to revisit the topic and in a couple of weeks and have another episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree to that. I also want to just say one thing: the truth about a romantic relationship. I think
Yes.
this is going to be like drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
Relationships are boring.
And
Period.
thank you for that. Yes, it's true. A really good relationship has to be boring. Yes.
A
So if you're a
really good relationship is doing the same thing every day, both of y'all like clockwork. Going to work, coming home, doing things, taking care of your dogs, your pets, or each other or your children, and doing it consistently day after day, year after year, boring, and that's the best relationship ever.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. Oh, that's a phenomenal note in which